morning. Not so sunny South Australia this morning, but it is still a beautiful day. I'd like to welcome you all here, those who are already watching, or I'm just monitoring. I've got my mobile phone sitting on the side and I just had a peek because I'm never 100% sure that I'm doing this right. And it looks like I am. So at the moment, yeah, that does look all right. I was mainly monitoring to see whether the comments were coming up, or that's mainly why I like doing that. And it is. Hi, Geordie. Because one of the things I'm looking at, yes, the comments, yeah, there it is. It shows there too. I'm still getting used to how the BeLive platform works and what to do in the background. So there's Geordie's comment. Thought I'd show that up. And it's an interesting process. It's not so much the process, it's a journey traveling on in learning all of this, connecting to Facebook, connecting to other platforms, the social media, whether your website's working, which mine aren't yet. Must do that one day. It just depends where the priorities lay. And at this point, nah, not so much. But anyway, hi Deirdre. There's another one. Hi Roz. Because I've got time to do that right at the moment, I'll do it. Show up all of the things. You may have noticed from the first comment that I wrote up in this stream that Leanne isn't actually available today. There was some double booking or something like that. It just was an accidental factor, and well, she's got a client, so Leanne will be watching it as a replay later too. So that's how it rolls sometimes. Now I do have a I'm not sure what I've done there. Yes, I did a screen share setup, which I've just undone. And I have actually got a link that I'll put in here a little later. And if any of you that are showing up are ready with a webcam, a set of headphones, which that's the one thing I forgot to do. There we go. Can anyone let me know if there's actually an echo in the background? It usually is mainly when there is more than one in the stream, like as in a guest, like Leanne and I chat together. It'd normally be that we could hear each other sometimes if you didn't have your noise, not noise, the sound stuff done right. That's why you do need these if you're coming in. So I'll just get it set up ready. Oops. And go like that. And hopefully I can still hear you and you can still hear me. Good. No echo. That's great. Thanks, Geordie and Deirdre. And so that sorts that one out. I'm just going to take it slower today. I felt last week, because I was so nervous, I get very excited when I'm coming on live. So there is a touch of nervousness in starting off the show on time and making sure everything's ready and ready to go, that sort of stuff, which I'm just going to get back the screen share that I was going to do, because I thought, oh, what do I actually end up doing when Leanne's not here? Because sometimes it can actually get fairly interesting in trying to work out what to talk about. You know, that the intuition level, it does sometimes just sort of drop because the nerves go up and thinking, oh, I'm going to stuff it up. But really, is there, you know, as far as stuffing things up, is it really something that's an issue? I don't think so. So as I'm getting this ready, I thought, well, intuitive topics. One of the things that popped into my mind this morning was basically the transition through to daylight saving time. Putting those clock hours, an hour forward, the clocks an hour forward. I've never liked it. From the time when it started, I don't even know when they decided to put daylight saving into our societal living factor. I can remember it being when I had young kids, and it would be absolutely a pain in the you know what to get them to bed at the right time and to sleep at the right time. And the meals would be all over the place because you'd be the hour earlier that wasn't suiting their tummies, wasn't suiting mine. Like I was having my lunch yesterday at 1:30 because that's when I was hungry, instead of, which would have been the 12:30. And I find it a very disruptive transition for me. And I just get tired, just so frustrated with looking up and finding, it's that late already. And it's not really, but it is, because we as humans have decided to muck around with gauging when our time is. So, it's just so, well, it is, it's frustrating. And it takes me at least a week or two to be able to get used to having that, the settledness of a new timeline of doing things that hour earlier. Because effectively that's all we're doing is shifting time so that we're doing everything an hour earlier. So, yeah, Geordie, just seeing that comment there. Does it show? Yes, it does. That would be very interesting, having daylight saving time as when your kids are born. I think, mine have all been within that. The two that were in daylight saving time would have been like January and March. So I didn't have anything that was a transition at that point. So in that respect, it didn't really affect me that much. But, it just amazes me. Sometimes you still hear the comments at times where the curtains fade faster, and what was old comments from way back. You sort of think, no, they don't. But anyway, that's what it is. And Deirdre, you love the daylight saving. Yeah. Fat Cat. I do remember Fat Cat. I think the kids probably do too. Yeah, it's a shame that some of the things that we had become used to have gone now. But I mean, that's just time's change, doesn't it? As well as we changing time. Time itself is actually a construct that we've created just to measure it, to gauge it, so we can be places at the right gathering time, I suppose. Yeah, and the changing back to normal time. It really does unsettle. I think even my dog was unsettled. Now, I'm just going to go back through some of the comments because I'm actually going to probably turn off my mobile phone part of it now. Whoops. So just bear with me. Whoops. As I'm trying to do stuff. It doesn't always work. You get a nice look on the crown of my head there, or the hairband I'm using. Yeah, that'll turn it off. It doesn't use the resources of the internet that way. And like going back over the comments here, I have noticed one here from Mary Ellen. I may be doing the readings a little later. I'm just going to do I sort of thought, as well as doing just an intro, daylight saving, it really is a bugbear of mine sometimes, and feeling that tension, and it is a bit of the energy that's floating around at the moment too with the astrology and stuff. I may do some readings a bit later, in the later part of the session today, the show, whatever you want to call it. And just going to set up a share thing, because what I decided to do as part of what I'm doing is just a little mini presentation thing. I think Google Plus or Google Drive, Google has a lot of resources, and I've been trying to use them and integrate them over time, well, for actually quite a few years. And I know they've got a PowerPoint presentation style of show that's called Slides. So I quickly mucked around with that this morning, just taking a few photos and that sort of thing. And that's pretty much what I came up with, but it's not showing just as my page. I wonder what I did wrong there. I think that's showing up as the entire screen, which I didn't want, so I'm going to drop that back down. Try that again. I've got to do it somehow different. So just bear with me. I will get that up again to just show that actual tab. And that's what I'll be doing now. So, and hopefully I can bring that up as it loads. And it should come up in a sec. Let's hope. And I think is that what's showing? Yes. And it's side by side. So if I wanted more of the screen like that, that's how I'll do it. So what I thought I might do, because of wanting to do just a small, short explanation of how I actually do my card readings if I'm using the cards. And I felt more comfortable with doing the solo as I am today to actually look at cards rather than just do the intuitive reading that I can do, but not in a hurry. It's an area that I actually have been only just working within and discovering, and well, learning probably isn't quite the right word, but actually allowing myself to receive and give out. And you may, some of you will understand that. I know Geordie will. So it's just, cards are part of the tools that we use, just one of them, because there's quite a few different ways that we can actually receive the information that guidance and spirit will actually give us to pass on to those who we're actually reading for. So, and I'm going to put in the comments, I'm pretty sure I'm on the live one. I'm just going to check. I thought what I'd do is put in the comments the link for, and at the moment I don't know that that's doing that. Put the link in there for anyone that does want to come on board and join in who are ready. So hopefully that's the one, and I've just put that in the feed. Let's see if it has done. Go back to seeing the comments. Yeah, it did. So that's actually the link that will bring you in as a guest, so that you're in as one of the, to be 1, 2, 3. And at that point, when if there's someone that does want to, we can certainly have a go at that, and I can do a bit of a card reading there. If I goof it up, it's not a problem, because like it was said earlier before, we don't make mistakes. It's just, well, it is actually learning opportunities. So what I'm going to go back to here, and this is where I've got to go back to that page, is using the tarot and oracle cards. So sometimes that's one of the types of tools that we can use. There are crystal balls. You can do water divining. There is, even reading flames, tea leaves. I'm just trying to think. There's quite a lot of different ways that we can actually get that information. There's a certain number of clairs that are the names we've put to them, whether we hear, see, sense, smell, just have that reception being open is the first step to it. And that sometimes for me takes a little bit of working on to get the clarity, because I still, after, well, I suppose it has been a few years, but it still takes a bit of practice to actually have that discernment of what's mine or what is a message for somebody else. So what I was going to look at right now, just as a little mini webinar-y thingy, is the tarot and oracle cards, because I happen to have them here, and it's a way that I use to help with doing a reading for people. And I think that's how I do that. I'm not sure how I disappear that side column thingy, so you just have to put up with it. I think if I did it as a present, that might do it differently. We'll have a go. I don't even know what that's turning up like on the actual live. So I'll just flip back there and have a look, see, does it turn up big? Yeah, it does. So that's fine. Now, I do have the two decks with me just to show the difference in what there can be between decks. I haven't got the actual box to hand. But I've found over the time that I've been using it, it's mainly this Psychic Tarot deck here that I have been using over time. And there's another one that's called the Gilded Tarot. I don't know, I can't remember who that's from. I do have the book here, but it's not the one I took the photo of. I will apologise for the quality of the photos because it was only about the hour ago I set this up and the photos were done very quickly. And edited very quickly. So it's not rough, but it could have been a little better. So they're the two that I just picked a card out of each and having a look at each of those. The one that's so beautifully illustrated is the Gilded Reverie. It's one that I was attracted to as a deck when Nicole McHenry did a card reading workshop, card play, and we had so many different decks to look at and feel and choose from, as in to just use at that point. I liked this one so much that I did go and order a deck for myself. And it is a wonderful one to handle. It's just slightly smaller. Well, slightly, it's actually quite small, a lot smaller than the actual tarot deck sized cards that you normally get. So for my hands, which are small, I really like that a lot better. Now, I'll just leave that sit there for a minute and I'll come back here to explain that. I presume that you can see me reasonably well there in size. Oh, that does it a bit different, doesn't it? I don't quite want that. What's that vision? No, not quite. No, we'll go back to that one so you can see the card better. Don't really need to see me fully, although I will hold up the different cards as a size so you can see them side by side. See how the difference is in the actual size, and then you put them together like that, so that for my hands, actually shuffling these is quite difficult compared to shuffling those. So you can see that as a fairly good indicator as to why I do like a bit smaller deck, because I've got small hands. Anyway, just back to a bit of, I should read the comments again too. Yeah. Right, can't hit on it. Oh, so whoops, got the wrong one. So Geordie, just a quick question as in, I can't hit on it, because we actually put a lot of these comments on after I've said whatever it is that you're responding to. What did you mean? Can't hit on what? Just a query back. So yes, I can see it. Love you playing around it. Oh yeah, yes. All of this is a learning curve and just trying out things. So, I mean, if there is anything that really looks a bit weird and odd, just, let me know through there and eventually I'll read the comments. So as we look at the cards, because that's what I just want to sort of explain how I do it, how I was taught to basically from Nicole, because she did it was a wonderful workshop to actually go to. And for anybody to really learn and discover for themselves how to read their own cards. I don't particularly use them much as a fortune-telling tool, because I don't feel for myself that it's always the fortune-telling side of it, the future and the rest. It's just speaking to me. The cards are speaking to me when I'm reading for myself about areas in me that I need to be looking at, that I need to actually do some self-discovery or learning or further travels on my journey in life. So as many of them do have those, if you've heard the word archetypal trends to them and messages, you'll understand. it's just giving us those inner lessons so that we can learn from them. So when you're actually looking at the card and seeing where your eye goes first, that's what I do feel is more important than anything else. I hardly ever use the guidebooks. There is little guidebooks. That's the one out of the Lenormand, and there is one out of the Psychic Tarot. If I really feel confused and not getting a clear message, I might go to the guidebook. But actually, in essence, I do go with my intuition about what area of the card I need to be looking at. And for this one with the lilies, and I'm not quite sure how that's showing up. I don't know how to do that. Oh, there, the solo. So I'll switch that to solo. It might look a bit bigger. And with the lilies, what my eye went to first, as well as the number being the 3, when you add the 30 up, it is 3 for numerology. And I can't off the top of my head remember what it means, but I know that 3 is my birthday number. So that means something to me just on that level. It gives it, for me, a stronger energy around what the card is meaning for me for today, because I read them as in it's the now that we are looking at when we're reading these cards. So my eye went then to the stained glass in the background. Now, your eye might go to something different. And knowing what I have around me today in my life, in what my experiences have been up to now in the last, few months and the rest, that energy that is the influence of where my life's at, that's showing me that there's always another somewhere. There's something else on the other side of a window because it's looking through. Now, this one, even though it's a bit on the smokier side and different colours in the background, you know and can sense that there is that something on the other side of that window, and that the lilies are then reflected in that stained glass. You can just, if you can see my cursor, you can just see that lily reflected in the background, and they are the same shapes as in it is like a reflection or that mirror. Well, would it be the mirror? Anyway, it's there as that, it's step further beyond what is just reflecting back to you. Take it to that degree of being open to the possibilities is what I'm feeling for myself. And all right, I just got distracted, and that's the thing with the comments. I don't always refer to them because it can distract you and take you out of your train of thought. But so I think it's this one that I took notice of. The link, Han, I'm on my iPad to connect for joining. So does that mean that you're wanting to be able to, right, that was the yep, I can't hit on it comment that was just down here. That one. See, I gradually do get it. I do understand eventually. Yeah. So you're saying, Geordie, that you can't actually click on to that link to actually join in as the guest link. So that'd be a shame. Be lovely to have you join in. Or if you can, I think it's a matter of if you haven't already got the BeLive app on your device, the mobile device, it'll ask you to download that. And then you should be able to join in and be in the lobby. So we can only but try it. If it doesn't work out, well, you got me solo. And the old saying, solo, you can't hear me. Well, that's not quite the way I like to. Yeah. There. Sorry, my bad connection to live on my computer. Good. Good effort. We'll still give it a try. And hi, Sharon. How you doing? Shaz, between clients. And so I'm not getting too distracted. I do like to finish some things that I start. Funny thing as I'm unpacking boxes still, because I've got so much stuff lying around from what I had in storage, still in process. It'll take a month or two, I think. And yeah, things that pop up, crop up out of boxes I'd forgotten I even had, because they have been in storage, I think, 9 months. And 9 or 10 months, stuff that I haven't finished. And I think, yeah, that would be right. I've got so many UFOs, as many of us do. So with even all those steps that we have in life and what we're learning as we're moving along, the different reflections we have that bounce back at us as reminders of where we're at, as signposts to get back on track to where we were, if that's what we needed to do, because we got distracted. You know, we get those sorts of little messages every so often. For some of us, a bit more often than others. Depends how far off the track you actually wander. And that can be fun. A lot of the time it actually is fun. It's why we got distracted. But the purpose of why we're on that journey still will keep cropping up for us, because we are meant to be on this journey that has purpose. So, you know, with anything that we're using as our tools, like these cards, for instance, it's giving us those little messages and indications of something else that we need to learn, or point us back to something we're meant to be on and doing, and those types of reminders, or new discoveries as well too. With this stained glass, it's just cropping up that new discovery. There is times where it's actually, don't forget, there is new stuff beyond there. You know, it's not just the same old. If you want to change things, you've got to actually put some work into it as well. And the different, I've just noticed the beautiful colours in the, what's the centre of a lily. I suppose it's like a bowl, but it does collect moisture, and it's got the pollen and all that you need within, or what the bees and the birds and, you know, the creatures of the earth that feed from them will need. It's all encompassed in that bowl, that beautiful creation of a lily, because they really do provide. Even just looking now, my eyes taken to the actual, do you call them a bouquet? The bunch of lilies being just a beautiful object, a lovely arrangement that shows off every angle of what these lilies have as a potential. And we don't have to just have the one face in front of us. It's looking at the different perspectives of what this lily is, of what our lives are, and using it in that manner of, you know, focusing, what is this picture saying to me when you're actually reading them for yourself? What is that saying to you, knowing you are the best person to be reading your own situation and learning your own answers for yourself? So that's a bit more of what I wanted to put across with that one. So we'll just move on to the next step, and just out of, you know, this is the Lenormand, that beautiful, what's it called? The Gilded Tarot, Gilded Reverie, these ones. And that's the card that I picked out of that. Now, it's not always what it seems on the surface when you're doing your reading. And I'll just let you sit and watch that one, have a look at that one for a minute, and I'll go back and have a check on the comments before I get distracted again. And yeah, no, that's good. There's not heaps of commenting, which is fine by me at the moment, because it's you know, the little bouncy bit. Oh, LaShauna's here. Hi, LaShauna, how are you? Great to see you here. And I haven't had any notice from Geordie yet, so I presume, Geordie, that you're not able to use that link to get connected in. Oh, it's a bit sad if you can't, but we'll try it for next time or otherwise, because I know that Leanne and I are going to be having that opportunity for, well, future weekly of these. So we've talked about that before. Haven't had much opportunity to do it yet. Leanne does, because she's very experienced at doing this stuff. She's done many shows with her readings, and purely just readings where I can't remember, I think it's a Wednesday night ones, and does it so smoothly. I'll get there. We all take things one step at a time, and you actually just have to start, really. There's no time that you really have to have stuff done in a particular timeline. There's, go with your intuition with it. And one of the things, just seeing this card now at the corner of my eye, is, it's an 8. That's an infinity symbol, the 8. I can't remember even there what the numerology is. With numerology, I've got to actually go and look them up. It's not something that's my expertise or forte. I love the cards. I like just doing, really, the sound therapy is my passion. And sometimes we even leave our passions on the sideline because we get too focused in on, whichever way you want to do focused in, on other things. And a lot of the time it's the physical and the money and supporting yourself and getting going in creating a base, which I suppose currently for me is a lot of my focus after what the last couple of years have been. It does put you on a bit of a more physical root chakra grounding type of a focus. So, and that's fine, because that's what my life is at the moment. Yours would be in a different area, of course. And this, it is reminding me, trapped in fear certainly was at the start of doing my psychic mediumship journey, and deciding after seeing a Lisa Williams certification course advertised, I thought, nah, not good enough for that. And yet it's something that I knew I had to do the application at least. There wasn't anything I was going to lose out of it, except there was a fear of missing out in that process. That I'd miss out. I didn't really want to miss out on it this time. So in that respect, I knew that I was actually ready to take that next step, because I was accepted and I have done that course. And, being a certified psychic medium, it does actually increase my own level of self-confidence, if nothing else. And I learnt a lot. It was a wonderful experience, and I'd do it again. And it's how I met Geordie. Wonderful, wasn't it? It was a great experience. Yeah, still working on trying to get the connection happening, Geordie. Well, hopefully you do. It's the only link that's given to us to actually put as a copied out, so I'm hoping it works for you. So as we're actually looking at this card, I'm looking at the eye again. I must be someone who likes the numbers just to see them and get that base. The having that foundation and base understanding of something's always been one of the things I have aimed for, even especially in maths when I was a kid. Learning the how-to thoroughly, and then once the concept I understood, I could do it easily. I didn't have to study. That sort of a self-confidence. It did build me up. It's just my way of how I like to understand things. So there's the number. And my eye was straight away taken, that hat, what can you say to that? What can I say to that? Over the last 4 or 5 years, actually it is, what year are we? 14. From 2014, the end of then, wonderful wedding and the rest, that, one of my daughters was married, 2014, to having, only the week later having a cancer tumour removed, and all that process from there till now. I mean, it's almost like, but it's just not a fear thing. It's the whole of life thing. I think I was more fearful of moving forward from that time of gee, am I really ready yet? Am I really ready yet to get back into work and getting back into being out in the world, which is what I'm doing now. Not that I was doing this before. Well, I sort of was, actually. I was doing it from the Google side of platforms with Hangouts on Air. I don't know whether some of you did see me in that avenue. But anyway, am I ready? It's that fear for me. It's been that, gee, what's the next step? I really like to have that checklist, step by step, one. Right, goody. Now, Geordie, have you clicked the link to actually come in? Because I can't see you in my lobby section yet, and I think that link is actually meant to bring you in after you've got your BeLive. One of the things that is a necessity on a desktop, are you on a desktop or on your mobile? One of the things that's needed is to use the Chrome browser, because that's the only way that BeLive works, is through the Chrome web browsing. So just thought I'd better share that too, because I haven't seen you're not in the lobby section yet. So it's all experimenting and trying it out. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee too. So I'll do that as a solo again. So those of you who are still here and even on replay, you can have a good look at that card whilst I'm just trying to see, okay, 2 secs, yeah, if we can get Geordie on live with me. So notice where your eye is going in your mind's eye even, or where your heart's feeling. You need to focus on that card. Unfortunately, you may have heard that swallow of my coffee. I don't know how to do the mute self. Oh, I think I just found it. I just found the mute. So, next time you probably won't hear it. Now, as you're focusing on that, think or feel where it's connecting in your own life experiences that are bringing you to have this card at this particular point showing for you as your own interpretation. Like, I know where I've felt it, and I've explained part of that, and this time it's actually a bit more of your turn. And now that you've had a bit of time to do that, and this is probably more for those who are going to watch in replay, because I'm still trying to find out where I actually look to find what number of people I've got online and who they are. I can see some little photos and the number of comments. Oh, yeah, 2 viewers at the moment. So for those who are watching it in replay, you can always comment, add your comments afterwards. It doesn't matter. I think with this type of show and the interactive way that it's actually done, that you can actually have comments added afterwards. And it'd be wonderful to know what you yourself have actually gained from this card. On the surface, it almost looks like it's something that isn't a nice card, and yet there's no good, bad, nice, yucky cards, really. It's just the way that you're sensing for yourself what the message is in it that's, telling you something about what you need to know for your pathway, what you're doing currently in your life now. So have that good look and see what happens there for you out of looking at that card. Now, what I'm going to do is finish with the sharing, because I think that's all the number of things that I had in this presentation. Yeah, because I only did it very quickly, remember. I'm going to take that down, and I don't think I have to. Oh, do stop sharing first. There is a few steps, but it's pretty easy to do. And I shall, yep, that takes that out of my line of doing things, so you can see me fully now, which is good. Now, somehow we still haven't been able to, I haven't seen Geordie pop up yet. So I'm not sure if I can do just a messenger to her. I'll just go to there, because I might be able to just send that as a message to you direct, Geordie. So those of you who are still online, and just to put the connection direct to Geordie might work. Oh, no, yes, that's it. So whether that works, and Geordie, if you've got your Chrome browser, web browser already open, it should give you the options through that to, I'm not sure that you have to have BeLive app or extension open on that or not. It's still working on it. So while you're actually working on that, I'm going to go back to one of those other questions that from who wanted a reading, right? So I'm going to this one, and I'm actually choosing the one that's easier to shuffle, and that's the Lenormand, which is that Gilded Reverie. So for you, Mary Ellen, probably you may not be viewing live now online at the moment, but I will comment later into your comment and tagging you so that you can watch that you've actually had a response to your reading. And you're wanting to know how your brother Rab is going. So the way that I read it, as I've explained already in the little presentation, was basically just reading what the focus is on the card. And it's going to be interesting. I haven't got a second camera up, so I can't use that. I'll just have to hide my face. So this is the card that's been drawn, and it's the number 10. What I'm getting instantly from that is, and I'll just drop that comment because I'll hide my face. Which way do I go? That way or that way? No, I go that way. Oh, this is fun. And because it's in front of me and facing you, I have a little more difficulty in seeing the card that way because it's not in front of me. Now, hopefully that glare isn't too bad. And being the number 10 equates to a 1 with numerology, and that's always the start of something new for me. That's how I interpret the ones. You can look it up elsewhere for the there's plenty of numerology sites. There is a lot of books about it too. And that's how I learnt it. I haven't done a course on it. It's not my expertise. But it is as part of the tarot cycle of the numbers that we use in tarot. It is the start. It's the start of something new. And I'm feeling that old things have passed. The scythe is a very good clearing agent, as well as, you can cut down weeds as well as harvest the good stuff. And there's a new cycle with that factor of it being the one. It's clearing the way for things that are a big change. I'm feeling that with the way that you've asked the question, is it that Rab has actually passed over? I'm getting the sense that he has. So really it's that feeling of, wow, that I'm feeling excitement, as in so much that is, all the rubbish has been left behind, and what's coming forward is new things for him to discover on the other side, because we do go through that process of planning what's next, of what do we need to learn next, what's in the next lifetime for us. And there's a whole process of working on that there. But it's in a different context of how we understand how we plan things. I know it's just something that we can all look forward to when we get there. So just looking at that card for yourself even, the harvest, the beautiful grains of wheat. They do, well, I presume it's wheat. I haven't looked at the card in detail. You're looking at that now. And that they're plump grains, whatever type of grain it is, they're plump. I can see that even from this distance because I'm looking at it I'm seeing it in a reflection on my back end of it. So appreciate he's fine. He's actually excited and there is new things forward. And I think it's just a way of passing on to you his excitement. It is okay. What is forward is something to look forward to without hurrying it on our end. That seems, it's worth the travel. Okay. So there you go. Hopefully I've given a bit of an insight from that card. Come back and watch the replay. Gain more from it for yourself in what you're tuning into with Connecting with Rab and getting more from it. Except we all have an intuitive channel. We all have that. Open it up. Allow it to be our guide. That it's the intuitive gut feeling that we get a lot. Many of us have it and ignore it. I did for years. I suppose part of that was because parenting style that my parents had was from an older era, and it certainly was from a Methodism background, and not putting religion down, but over time I felt that actually closes you off to more of the opportunities and possibilities that we have with connecting to our own spirituality and what we need, rather than having somebody else tell you what you need all the time. Learn to tune in to your own self. Okay, hopefully that helped, Mary Ellen. And I know there was another question here somewhere. Katie Garrity. So as you watch too, Katie, I'll put a comment in underneath yours so that it's tagged. I'm assuming I can do a tag or something. I'm still learning all of these phrases. I'm going to use the harder to shuffle cards for you, the Psychic Tarot, because it does make it a bit easier when you're asking to have a question answered, to have it a little bit more specific around what area. Is it career, or is it your health, or like Mary Ellen had said around her brother Rab. So it could be a little more detailed and not just so general that, well, at times it's a question that comes to my mind. Why make the person who is doing your reading, why make them work harder for it to get the information? Otherwise, we're only guessing what the symbols and the feeds that we're receiving, how we're receiving, how we feel or see or smell or what. We're only really guessing if there's not some sort of direction in what area you want answered. So just make it a little easier for us. It does help to actually have a little bit more specific to it. But anyway, Katie, I've got this. I'm just doing a 1, a 2, because I like 3 as a number, and this will be the third shuffle, and it's the top card. That's how I do it. What I've got there is a 4, time out, rest and rejuvenate. That's my instant feel on that one, because these cards, luckily, which way was I doing it before? That way I'll do. These cards with the Psychic Tarot, sorry about the reflection, but it's there, just. And the angle, they actually give you a bit of a hint at the bottom what it's aiming for as far as the message goes. And it is a number 4. So it's after that the celebration of something that's been achieved and the rest in the number threes, that there is some time that we need to do some reflection around what happened there to then continue on the journey to the next step. So I'd say that there's actually been quite a lot of work in your background at the moment, and you're needing to actually have that rest. And is it rejuvenate? Yes, it is. That word is, I'll just try and get it up there a bit closer. Is the focus right? No, it's not. Okay. There, just there. So from there, is there anything that you can pick out that comes to your focus instantly? And I'll try to move it back and not have the reflections, which is pretty hard. At some point, I'll get the gear right to actually have a second feed in that has it dedicated to the cards. It's all a growing process and a learning curve for me, as well as you guys too, I dare say. And the contemplation that's happening there. The face just looking inward, you can sense that inward journey. Put on some nice music one day and do the process of a really good deep meditation, even if it's just to sit and breathe and have that nice gentle music in the background. One of the things that I really like to do, and there you go, I'll put that down because it is actually hard to hold cards up like that. One of the processes that I like to do is I've got medicine drum, so I actually do like to beat that as a heartbeat rate. And it could be as simple as you finding something that makes a pleasant sound and beating it at a heartbeat rate as you're doing your deep breaths and moving into that meditative state to connect with your inner being and have that conversation with yourself and open up to what your inner self is actually trying to guide you through, teach you, show you, actually being you and realizing that you actually have that full, complete body of who you are. It's the inner self, it's the body, it's the outer self, and your energy fields, your energy bodies as well. So much to learn, so much that can actually take your interest and focus. And I think really for what we're all wanting to do is to find where our focus needs to be, who you are, what you're meant to be doing here. I know I've asked those questions of myself, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the most common questions that's asked anywhere by anyone. We just want to be happy. And, well, why can't we enjoy life? There's nothing wrong with doing things that you enjoy and following them up. And, all avenues of things, all possibilities, like that Lily card with the stained glass window and what's beyond, even like the one trapped in fear. We ourselves have that possibility, that potential to get that trap out of the way. It's us putting ourselves in that position. So, look for the ways that you can to actually remove that fear, because fear is only something that's a construct of our own beliefs that really aren't true. When you really delve in and look at them, they're not really true. We believe so many weird things. Oh, wonderful. I've got Geordie on. I've just got her in the lobby. So if you just hang on a moment, I'll see the process. Hi. Now, I'm not sure if you can you hear me, Geordie? Yeah, see, I can't hear you till you're in the broadcast. So are you ready? Okay to go up in the broadcast? I'm putting up. Yep. Great.
Oh,
how are you?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling wonderful. I've managed to get nearly a full hour done by myself.
Yay.
I haven't
so I was obviously not meant to be here.
Oh, Leanne, when I'd sent the link to Leanne, she phoned and said, looks like my calendar's been filled with clients. So, and
Oh,
it wasn't
bugger.
her doing. So that's fine.
That's all
Well,
right.
you're not meant to be on. I'm meant to do solo. And then we sort of
Yeah.
thought, well, why don't you put the link up, which I've done. So wonderful to see you here.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah. So as a completion, since it's nearly close to the end, but you managed to
fine.
get through to joining in. Can you
Yes.
explain what process you had to do to join in as a guest so that those watching the replay this time
Yeah.
can be prepared next time?
Yeah. So the link, I actually went to a different app. I went Be Live instead of BE Live. So you've got to make sure it's BE.live, I think it is, as an app. So that's where I went wrong. So then once I've downloaded it, I'm actually on my iPad and I've got it on my iPhone now. So it's a lot easier. And I love this, actually. It's a really good little thing to use. So is it for all platforms or is it just my TV, my live TV can use this?
Right. I'll explain a little bit about the BeLive.tv. So the actual website that I link into is called BeLive.tv.
Yep.
And that's the app is BeLive.tv that you probably did download. So the dot's in that BeLive. So it's BeLive.
Yeah.
And there is a trial period you can try it for. It's a app or program that is directly connected to the Facebook Lives, that you can have it hosted from your own page. It needs to be from a page or a group or a business, not your personal profile. That's the only thing it won't connect through. You've got to do it.
Cool.
That's why mine is by mytimetv.live is one that's a group that I'm part of. So it's through that group.
Through that group that you do it.
And I can host from Hypnosis Plus with Roz, or I can host through Bet's Holistic Therapy, or I can host through, which I have started a Roz Boundy, a public personality or something, but I haven't filled out the rest of that yet.
Yep, cool. Sorry, I'm just moving.
Just starting it. Oh, that's fine.
Oh, cool. My iPad's a little bit heavy to hold, so hang on. That's better.
I actually use a little thing like that when I'm doing mobiles, not so much to put it in there, but to lean it on, because being sticky legs, it doesn't fall off.
Yep. Oh, sorry. That's better.
Yeah, I understand with the iPad. So you found the process was fairly easy to
once
actually
I got the
connect
link, and once I got the app, it was. Oh God, here we go. Hang on. If I go that way, oh look, that's better.
Yeah, I don't. What orientation are you using? Landscape or portrait?
I'm using landscape now, so it's a lot easier. So a lot easier. But that's once I found the process, it was easy. It was so easy. So but it was good. I love listening to you. It was so awesome to hear your journey and how everything's going with you. It was awesome. I'm so excited for you, darling.
Thanks. It's nice to have the feedback instantly.
Yeah. No, I've actually. It's just. What you were saying is so correct. Like you just throw out the guidebook and just do what you feel brings through. As you say, with the cards, they're like a tool which enhances what we've already got. So it just gives spirit or our guides the extra vocabulary that if we go as readers, we go blank, we can then go, I'll just bring the cards up. And then they can enhance the reading once more and they can give you a little bit more insight on what you may not have had experience with, but the cards will give you that understanding of what the reader is, the sitter is going through. So, so it makes sense. I loved it. I loved it. And it's really good because I've had time to do this. So it was awesome.
Yeah. I haven't had as much time. I could have made it, but it would have been really awkward, especially whilst I was caring for Mum. But anyway, life presented what it did for me because it was part of my journey. So timing is now. I'm following this one at the moment for as long as it directs me to this path.
Yay.
Like each of us should be more aware, I think, and that's a learning curve too for everybody to really realise that their intuition, gut feeling is hair directing them. Sorry about that. Directing
I
them
get them all the time
on their path.
Random, yeah.
Well, that's why I have the hairband, because I'm eating hair all the time.
That's why mine's all short.
Well, coming summer, I may get it cut off short, don't know, but I've got sisters that put pressure on me. Your hair's so beautiful, you've got natural curls, don't cut it off. And I think, you don't have to, put it up. Out of the way, stop eating it. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And with yourself too, Geordie, I mean, we met through doing the Lisa Williams course.
Correct.
With anything that we can share with each other, like sometimes you just don't know who, even though you feel you know someone, you don't know all of their story.
Yeah.
Or anything really, until you start sharing. And that was a short timeline, and I've got to know you through other avenues since, even though it's mainly online. It's still good ways that we've gotten tools to be able to do that. God, it'd be lovely to have you back as a guest at some point to share more.
I would love to. I would love to just
pants.
Yeah. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. And it's interesting because there's some mornings where I'm actually it's interesting now because I'm actually starting to teach. So teaching for me has been literally last year was throwing me out of the water, and this year they're coming to me more and more, and I'm like, am I really supposed to be mentoring these people and having them under my wing? And I'm like, it's really scary. But so it's an experience, but we all have to learn. Spirit, we can't stop growing, we can't stop learning. And I actually learn when I'm actually teaching too. So but I'd love to come back on again. So I know you're running out of time. So yes.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. It'll be great. Now that you have the stuff set up, the link and learning a little bit more about the Be Live. I mean, we might be able to find a time to do a practice run and show you a bit more of what I know, which isn't a huge amount, of using the Be Live and stuff. But it certainly is a great avenue to get out there. Teaching it is a live streaming platform, the Be Live, whereas I think the Zoom you can have as private and all those other choices, but it's a little more difficult to use. So awesome. I look forward to actually having you back, and that'll be good.
I just want to give you a hug. I saw you in May. Was it in May that I was in Adelaide? I think it was May.
Very briefly.
But it was busy, so which is good.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
It's funny when we do our festivals, we know if we can actually talk to people, we know that we're not that busy. So
that's right. And you were busy.
And when we don't talk to each other, we just go, "Oh, it's been a busy week."
Well, that was just huggy. That was just hug time, and that was good. It was just awesome. Good to see you. Yeah. So
awesome.
Do look forward to getting back again together, connecting as a live here. I do every Tuesday at 10:30, and it is with Leanne, who of course you've met. No. And
God, I've known her for over 5 years now. It's crazy.
Yeah, isn't it? It is crazy. Well, how time goes, and yet we try to manipulate it with daylight savings.
Yes. And it's funny because all my beautiful some of my beautiful friends in the industry I've all met through Lisa Williams courses.
Yeah.
So
So, it's good,
yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like I've just got someone coming on as we're going off.
We better go.
I think maybe they didn't put their clock an hour forward or forgot. I don't know. The daylight savings is just something that is intriguing. Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't save daylight. We just shift time.
True.
So great. Thank you for popping in, and we'll organise next, when we can for
at least it won't take me a full hour to get into it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, darling. Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
And for all of those who are left or watching the replay, do feel free to actually share. The share button is usually there somewhere, and have people come in as you feel it's relevant for them or would like to see me chatting on, want to know a bit more about the tarot cards or anything. And it was you, Leanne. Leanne must have finished with that particular client, so it's good for you to pop in. Thank you so much, Leanne. But I am just going to close off now, so share away those who can and think it's relevant for you or your friends. And it will be next week again at 10:30 Daylight Savings Time, Central Australian Central Daylight Time, I think it's called. So, because there have been some who've popped in that are in US. Lashawna is definitely over in the US. And some others, I don't know where the other two were that I did readings for. So, look to your comments. I will be trying to get back to those who've made relevant comments to respond. And we'll see you next week. Thank you for being here. And share away. Bye.